in this video I'm going to be going over some new player traps. Not all traps are good, not all traps are bad, and some are just quite in the middle. Welcome to New Player. Now what? Right, firstly, what is a trap? Well, putting your weird fetishes aside, I'm looking at you. A trap is something, particularly in Division, that is perceived to be best in slot, really good, overpowered, but it actually isn't. Especially when you break it down, look at the math, it ends up being mediocre or generally not worthwhile, considering the bonuses, etc. that you will be getting, RNGs involved, etc, etc. Perfect example of this is Memento. Now that I've said that, cue people coming out of the woodwork saying Memento is best in slot solo backpack. It categorically isn't. Any backpack, and I do mean literally any, 511 with health and armor regen, screw it, will, as long as it's got vigilance, it will do more damage than what Memento is capable of. 3% armor regen is still only 3% armor regen. Armor regen is considered to be the second weakest stat in the game, the first being health. So if you ever think, oh, health, that's pretty friggin' useless, armor regen is a step above that. That's it, a step, armor regen. Yeah, so the best thing you can actually get out of Memento is actually the skill efficiency. And yeah, not a lot of people use Memento on the old skill builds. The only thing that really Memento gives you is 3 of each core, but by themselves those cores are considered generally quite absolutely useless. So yeah, Memento, not best in slot backpack for everything. Anyway, that's what we mean by traps. So let's get into the first one, shall we? This was going to cause flack as well, I know it. Eagle Bearer. Yeah, that thing. Once the proud king of the AR DPS meta. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Lately, it has been shoved down and pushed around and bullied and, well, it's just generally been nerfed by the dev team. It was once, like I said, the best AR in the game, and now it even struggles to hold its own. From a mathematical perspective, it is categorically the worst AR in the game. That being said, the difference between all the ARs is only like 15%, so there's not really too much point in splitting hairs. The reason for this is quite simply, if you look at things like rifles, the overall difference between all of the rifles is about 40%. LMGs ends up being about 80%. Damn, that's suppressed. Pistols is like 30%. Marksman rifles is like 90%. Yeah, suddenly that 15% difference in all your ARs, really not worth worrying about. So, why is this then a trap? If it's not worth worrying about, why is it a trap? Well, it's quite simple really. The amount of people that actually want to go through the game, rush to the raid to get EB because it's the best AR in the game. 1, it isn't. 2, don't rush through the game. 3, you'll be surprised the level of grind and commitment you have to put into the game to even get raid ready. And I say this for both parties. I'm not trying to gatekeep, okay? I am one of those people that will go out of my way to ensure that people get into the raid, experience the full Division content, and I will help people get EBs if they need it. However, what suddenly can go from being a 30-minute Dark Hours carry, if someone is not prepared, suddenly now takes 2 hours, and it becomes very problematic from there. So now not only are you wasting my time, you're wasting your own, as well as 6 other people that have graciously volunteered to give up their free time to help someone who is unprepared to get a weapon that they are not going to understand. So it's not just a trap for new players, it's a trap for basically everyone involved. Now, depending on how you want to look at it, Eagle Bearer suddenly becoming available in the Dark Zone can be a blessing or a curse. Sadly, it kind of makes locked content kind of redundant. Like, the only reason a lot of people actually do Dark Hours raid nowadays is to do either 1, speedrun it to get the best time, or 2, so that they're able to get Eagle Bearer. If Eagle Bearer then goes to Dark Zone, the only people that are left doing Dark Hours raid is really going to be the speedrunners, or people that on occasion will be like, I'm bored, what should we do? Screw it, let's run a raid. Most people nowadays also do Iron Horse rather than Dark Hours. So yeah, I kind of feel like having Eagle Bearer dropping in the Dark Zone is kind of a dum-dum, but hey, who am I to decide? Anyway, this is more about Eagle Bearer and it being a complete and utter trap. Like I said though, the difference between the top end ARs, Dod-Foamath mainly, and Eagle Bearer is only really about 15%, so it's not too much worth crying about. However, it is a 15% drop in your overall DPS, and this can hurt you. Even running it for just this mission, I seriously noticed the difference in damage. I don't normally die in Capital on Heroic, and I think I go down like 3 times in this mission. Ends up being annoying, and I very nearly just went, screw it, I'm just going to go to my normal Strikers build. The main reason for this is 1, it has headshot damage on it. This is great unless you're not hitting your headshots that much, and I'm actively and consciously trying to hit headshots, but yeah, it's not as easy as a lot of people make it out to be, looking at you, Hutchler. And 2, it doesn't actually have a damage talent, which means from the off it is considerably outperformed by anything you can put a damage talent on. Even things like Chameleon, which a lot of people would argue is the worst AR in the game, as long as you're able to maintain a single buff, doesn't actually matter what one it is, Chameleon will outperform Eagle Bearer. It has the potential to do it, just doesn't always do it. Eagle Bearer though kind of gets literally nothing, and it struggles. It really does struggle. For number 2, backtracking slightly, talking about raids. I'm sure we've all seen them at some point. There are some content creators, I'm not going to name them, being a good boy. There are some content creators that peddle a certain website. I'm not going to show the website, but I'm pretty sure we can all figure out who it is I'm talking about and what it is I'm talking about. For the low price of like $150, these people will log into your account. I think that's how it works. I'm not too sure how it works. But yeah, for a low price of $150, these people will help you in some manner, whether they carry you or whatever, or they log into your account, and they will get you things like Eagle Bearer, Ravenous, Regulus, etc, etc, etc. Don't do this. There are a multitude of communities that will help you do this on repeat. You can go to Shout Out Bro Squad. We do it weekly. The majority age of people in Bro Squad is like 40 plus, so we're typically busy over the week. But every weekend we have raids. If you want Eagle Bearer, Ravenous, Regulus, we can help with that. You've got GC Rocks community, which are continually running raids. You have Vroom, who will help you get raids. You have the official Division 2 Discord, who will help you get raids. You can even go onto Twitch and look up streamers. 2 that come to mind, mainly for console, is if you're on PlayStation, Nerve CYC, and I believe he does PlayStation as well as Xbox, but Little Huge actively runs raids. There are so many people in the community that will help you do raids, guide you through them, get you, or help you get, it's a percentage chance, they can't guarantee it, they will help you get things like Eagle Bearer and Ravenous, and if you have the projects available, they will help you grind out the parts that you need to get Regulus. They will actively help you. It's kind of like the whole basis of what they've even built their channels on, and it's free. All you've got to do is just talk to them and be nice, be a human being, and you can get the end game content and the weapons for free. Who the hell is paying $150 or euros or whatever it is for someone else to grind these out for you? Like, 1, you're losing the experience. 2, just like, It's free. Save yourself the money. And there's probably no chance that they would get it any quicker than you can anyway. You only have like one chance per weekly reset per character. And then it's a 5% chance, I believe, to even get one of these to drop from the raid. So essentially you have, in total, across all of your characters, about a 20% chance, if you've got 4 characters, 1 raid per character per week, to get one of these. So yeah, I don't do it. Just find a community that does raid carries. Easy. Problem solved. Now, up next is a weird one, and I know Hutcher's going to try and kill me for this, but Regulus. Yeah. Now, Regulus isn't actually a direct trap because the weapon isn't what people think it is or whatever. It is pretty much like the highest burst DPS weapon. It has amazing headshot capability. It hits stupidly hard in a single shot. It's pretty much the meta-defining weapon that we have at the moment. It's immensely powerful. However, the trap with it is the route you take in order to actually get it. See, Regulus is raid locked, and I do believe that even when things like Eaglebear and Ravenous enter the DZ, I don't believe Regulus is actually going to the DZ. So you still have to get into Iron Horse raid, complete it, then you have to go through, I think it's like 4 different projects, and then finally you unlock the Regulus blueprint. You then have to do another raid after a weekly reset, and then you can finally make Regulus. It is a bit of a ball ache. However, to get optimized Regulus build, a lot of people would argue it literally requires 2 exotics, one of them being Regulus, the other being Dod City Holster, and then 5 named pieces. This is a hell of a grind, especially if you're the more casual player. Not only have you just jumped through all these hoops to get probably the most powerful weapon, certainly the most powerful pistol in the game, you then got to grind out all of this. The only part of this that you don't potentially need would be the gift. Pretty much any Providence backpack with weapon handling, headshot and vigilance will do. It's probably also going to be a lot easier for you to get, but even still, that is a lot of grinding. There are other builds you can do with it as well. See Hutchler's meta video. The point really is you spend all this effort to get a pistol. You're going to have fun with this pistol for a while, and then your brain's going to go, well, now what? I've got like the ultimate weapon. That's game complete, right? And then you've just burned yourself out. Don't be in a rush. Just smash your way through the raids to get this pistol. Yes, it is very good. You're going to see it, and like you're going to watch streams and YouTube videos, point in case in the background footage here, of people using it, and you're going to be like, oh my god, that's amazing. It's only really amazing if 1, you can hit your shots, 2, if you have the build capability to put into it, the resources to put into it, as well as the time, and I'm also going to say mental fortitude. Not that it requires some sort of mentally robust Jedi Knight to play Division, just more it's a very grindy game. It's not exactly a well optimized game, and it can play a little bit on your overall mental state. Screw it, I've had enough of this game, not going to play it again for a month. If you then burst your way into the game, smash your way up to the raids, get the raids, get this pistol, you're basically just going to be done and burnt out. It's kind of the whole point. Like, I've seen a lot of people grind their way up to get Regulus, and the moment they get it, they're burnt out, and I haven't seen them come back onto the game for months. I would much prefer you stick around on the game, play it for a bit, try out new things, you know, just play the game rather than just go, screw it, I want Regulus, that's my ultimate goal in life. Regulus itself is not a trap, but I see so many people get burned out and give up on the game just because they tried to get Regulus. It ends up being a hell of a grind. Don't worry about it. Play the game. We'll worry about Regulus another time. Up next we have the gift. I actually tried looking for a picture for this, not realising it's actually just a simple bloody backpack, which, yeah, I've wasted 20 minutes of my life. Right, the gift. God, this actually kind of infuriates me, and I believe Hutler has touched on this at one point in one of his videos. And yeah, so vigilance. Increased total weapon damage by 25%. Taking damage disables this buff for 4 seconds. Perfect vigilance. Increased total weapon damage by 25%. Taking damage disables this buff for 3 seconds. That's it. The difference between vigilance and perfect vigilance is when you take damage, the buff is disabled for 4 seconds. And then 3 seconds. There is a 1 second difference. Now, if you want to break it down and get technical, yes, you can argue that perfect vigilance is 25% better than normal vigilance. However, you're not getting any extra damage. You're not getting any extra survivability. You're not actually really gaining anything. You're just having to delay an extra second, which is not really a big deal. I see so many people crying and kicking up a fuss because they don't have the gift. They can't use these builds because they don't have the gift. Just get a Providence backpack with vigilance on. They are the exact same. The damage will be the exact same. There's no difference. A lot of people genuinely argue that the gift is the worst named item simply because it doesn't actually really offer you anything. There's no like concession to make. Providence is like the standard go-to high-end meta DPS 3 piece. The difference between vigilance and perfect vigilance is, well, there isn't actually one. Like the overall damage effect you get from them is the same. If you look at Intimidate versus Perfect Intimidate. Perfect Intimidate has a higher multiplier. It will do more damage. Focus versus Perfect Focus. Spotter versus Perfect Spotter. There's always a damage increase. Vigilance is like the only one where there actually isn't a damage increase. It's just the debuff timer. So, yeah. It's not actually giving you anything extra. Even if it was 26% total weapon damage, it would be worth it and this argument would go away, but because it's still 25%, most people would genuinely argue it's the worst named item in the game. It's categorically not worth it. Don't bother. And the only reason the only reason I use them on my builds is 1, I have them, 2, bragging rights. Hey guys, look what I wasted my time doing. That's it. Anyway, there's another 4 new player traps for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have fun, good luck, don't die. Bad for the health.